Harlem Eubank, Chris Eubank Sr. Welcome both to Wasserman Boxing. New venture starts today. Welcome both of you. Harlem, start with yourself. How did this venture come about?
I think, as I said earlier, I think it formulated at the perfect time. As I've always said, my uncle Chris, he's the king of this game. He's always been a special inspiration to me, a reason I got into the sport, and someone that's inspired my journey to this point at 18 and 0. It was divine intervention. I think it came at a time where I'm about to head back to the venue that my uncle was the last person to fight there in his first defense after dethroning Nigel Benn. This is the time that it came together. This is the right time, and he's gonna be beside me as I spearhead the next chapter of my career.
Chris, over to yourself. Welcome to Wasserman. To echo Harlem, how did this come about? Was this a quick decision for you? Is this something that had been spoken about for a while?
I mean, over the years, I've always been giving wisdoms to Harlem regarding the boxing, the do's and don'ts, if you will. And it's got to a position now where, because of the passing of my brother, his father, it seemed to come head on that, I have to look after him. And it seems as though, in terms of contracts and the like, he was in a position to actually be able to have me come in. And so, yeah, it's a blessing because it gives me the influence now to make people see what he actually is, which is a brilliant fighter, not personality. He's a sweetheart. He's not the talker that I am, but he certainly is the fighter that I was. Certainly, the boxing aspect of him is sensational. And I really do think the public are going to be surprised once that light shines on him like it's going to now, because, I'm going to be, look, you got to look out for this guy. Look at what he's doing.
Given your experience both in and out of the ring, Chris, is it speaking to the media one of the things that you're going to be advising Harlem on?
Well, I've advised them already on how to speak to the media. You speak to the media with your fists. That's right. He's not a comedian. He's a philosopher, but that's kind of family. The reason the world wants to know any fighter is if they can fight, not shout and bully or smash up things in the room. That's not boxing. Boxing is about being able to get into that ring in front of audiences and show the skill sets that you've been working on for the years you've been boxing. In Harlem's case, 11 years, blood, sweat, and tears. That's right. And my objective is to let people see that, not for him to compete with the comedians out there. No, fighters being actually looked upon for their personalities is a travesty. Can you fight? Because as it was for me, if you can't fight, leave the building. Please, get out. You've got to be able to fight in this. That's, in boxing, if you can take them out beautifully, that's all the talking you need to do. And that he can do. As far as the gift of the gab is concerned, I have a wisdom which will keep you entertained. To put it simple. Yeah.
I'd like to pick up on something that you said earlier. You said there's a difference between a boxer and a fighter. Harlem Eubank, of course, a highly talented boxer. How far can he go in the boxing game, do you think?
Well, certainly beyond the realms of which you're looking at now in boxing.
How
The skill sets aren't being taught anymore. 2% of fighters have skill sets. The top Mexican fighter. Yeah. So if you look at the skill sets he's been taught by old school, that's how he's come up over these last 11 years. not smoke and mirrors, and not, bluster, but ability. When you watch his footwork, you can see that he's spent, numerous amounts of hours working on that foot movement, which is a skill set that's needed at the top level of proper boxing. The wonderful thing about Harlem, which will be a surprise to those who think that they can actually go toe-to-toe with him, I would say, listen, no, box him, show your skill, because if you force him into a fight, you're going to get hurt. That's right. That's what I see. And, go back to Junior's career. How often was I wrong? Not often. Not often.
Harlem, how much does it add to your game, knowing that you've got Chris Eubank Sr. behind you? We've seen different kinds of performances from you. We've seen you overcome adversity, getting up from illegal knockdowns. We've seen you end shows early, and we've seen you go the distance and put on displays. But now you've got Chris Eubank Sr. behind you. What does that do for your game?
I think you only have to look at what is achieved in the sport. He is at the top of the top in this sport as far as boxing is concerned. He's the guy. He is the king.
That's right. That's right. That's why I want my King's Council to back me up all the time. All right.
And he has a wealth of experience. He's been there, he's done it, he's seen it, he's experienced it firsthand. He knows what it's like to be in the ring. He knows what it's like to face adversity, come through it. He's been there and done it. He's felt it, and that's what I will be doing. And having him by my side, in my corner, is going to add a lot. A lot of wisdom, a lot of skill, a lot of insight to that team going forward.
Can I just make this point that, overall, it's preparing him in experience. See, when you tell an experience, then the listener knows what he is possible that he can walk into. And once he knows that, then when he meets it, oh, I've seen this before because I've gone through it. I heard it, I've gone through it. So, even though he may not have gone through the physical experience, he's gone through the ideology or the dreaming state of such a situation. And so he's ready for it. And I'm going to have him prepared. That's right.
That touches on, you were both saying earlier on about the spiritual connection between the pair of you. I guess that is what you're referring to here, in that, yes, you have coaches and teams that can tell you things, but with you guys, obviously, family as well comes into this. You're really being able to draw from experience from Chris here. Like he says, when you overcome these adversities or when you face new ones, you almost live this through a family member.
I think boxing, fighting is, one of the highest spiritual experiences you can go through.
Yeah.
You're putting your life on the line. And to have his experience behind me, to have that connection, he's my uncle, and he's experienced in this boxing realm to the highest degree. So it just gives me a lot of confidence, knowing that physically and spiritually, because this is a spiritual, fighting is very spiritual, and it's just playing out in the physical in the ring there. And to have him behind me, it gives me a wealth of confidence.
I wouldn't say I'm behind him. I'm with him. Yeah.
Well worded.
So the with is, so I just want you to look at what he's going to be able to use in his armory. So I'm going to be looking at his opponent, and I'm going to be telling him about the opponent's spirit. Because if you can break the spirit of the opponent, then the man folds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an expert with that. Yeah. So it's divine intervention.
Well, the opponent is Timo Schwarzkopf. The location is Brighton, and the broadcaster is Channel 5. I mean, talking of magnitude, is it possible to sum up just how big this event is? I mean, you're pulling in around 2 million views on Channel 5. Previously, Harlem. You've got Eubank Sr behind you now. Just try and sum up, if you would, the scale of this event.
Yes, one word. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Again?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Would you summarize the same?
It's beautiful. That's the word. It's everything come together at the right time.
Which adds up to it being
Beautiful.
beautiful.
We can't wait to see it. Eubank Sr, Harlem Eubank, goes down on Channel 5 against Timo Schwarzkopf, but this is just step one in before many. Actually, thank you both very much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing this wonderful, beautiful journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.